Welcome to the Legged Podcast. As you all know by now, the Legged Podcast is powered by Mont. Make sure you head over to mountaineering.com and take advantage of the 15% off they offer if you type in Legged at checkout. Mont have been the main sponsor of the podcast for a while now, and their gear is a belter. So head over to the website now and take full advantage of the Legged promo code. So before this episode starts, if you do enjoy the Legged Podcast and you do want to support us for just £1 a week, you can on Patreon. And with doing so, you get early access to all our episodes and an extra weekly episode of me and Jordan just chewing the fat. Thanks for the support. Nice one.
Hi, welcome to the Legged Podcast. It's me, Jordan Neal.
It's me, Andy Grant, and this week's guest is Mick Caren, a.k.a. the Scouse Goggins, I've heard.
That's what he described you to. He said, we were putting the dates in for people coming in. He said, Scouse Goggins. I said, oh yeah.
Yeah, it stuck a little bit, that, yeah.
Before we start, big shout out to our sponsors. You got Montrex, you get 15% off if you type in Legged at checkout, and also if you go to Veer Clothing, you get 20% off if you type in Legged 20. Also, Health Kick Kitchen, they give you 10% off your scran orders if you type in Legged 10. Go and check out the sponsors, support them, all the links are in the bio. Right.
Let's do it.
Mate, I'm a big fan, mate. Love your Instagram, mate. It's, I feel like you just, again, the podcast was about us speaking to people that we wanted to speak to, mate, and you were definitely just someone I was like, I just want to spend, an hour with this person, and just, because some of the stuff you're doing, mate, it's brilliant. Like, yeah. I think for inspiring people, but also just kind of something different. Do you know what I mean? I feel like you're not a kind of sheep. You kind of look, I'm just going to do this. And I think the one you done the other week where you climb Mount Fama, carrying your body weight, a couple of kettlebells and stuff.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Just all that kind of thing. I mean, it's brilliant.
I think I just sit down too long and come up with stupid things, and once they're stuck in my head, that's it. Like, they've got to be done, whatever it is. So I've been up Mont Fama, Scouse Mountain, isn't it? So it's like spend most of my time there. So I think the first chance of seeing a guy who's an ex-Marine who done it, carried his rower doing a national free peaks.
Yeah, I know him. It's what's his name? Holiday or something. His name is, isn't it?
Disney.
That's
Disney.
it.
Yeah, you can't forget.
I knew he had a mad name. Yeah.
So he was a bit of inspiration first. So I know it was nothing to what he done. He done the national free peaks with his rower. And then he actually went up Mont Blanc with it. I don't know if you knew that as well.
He got in the shift for that, didn't he?
Yeah, because he left it.
He left it on Mont Blanc, his rowing machine.
Yeah.
Well, just left, discarded it like...
Yeah, well, do you know what? He left it at a hut up there, and they have helicopters, so someone copped for a nice Concept 2 rower, so I don't know what the problem was, but yeah, there was a load of shit. They were giving the French, were giving the Brits shit over it, saying you can't even carry your stuff back down the mountain and that. But anyway, he was a bit of inspiration for me to carry a rower. It was only a rower up Mont Fama. It weren't a big deal, but to some people it looks like it's a big deal because the rower sits comfy. I mean, when you're used to carrying weight, where you've been in the army, it's 26 kg, it was nothing. And then the next one I done was a tyre flip. I don't know if you've seen that. I flipped the tractor tyre up with my son on a New Year's Eve. I said to him, I worked it out, I can run up in 15 minutes. So I said, if we had an hour on, be a bit slower. And then we think we was there for nearly 6 hours, just flipping this tyre, nearly broke me back on that one. It's like the worst thing I've done.
So you flipped the tyre all the way up to the top?
All the way up, yeah. And then the worst part was, it weren't getting it up, flipping it up broke me back, but it was getting it back down. There was loads of people. And I couldn't flip it back down in case it rolled.
Just let it roll.
If there was no one there, they'd probably left it up there. It'd still be up there now. But loads of people started to film me saying, are you going to carry this tie back down with you? I was like, I am now, yeah. I'm going to have to, aren't I? So anyway, I got up and I had to walk backwards and sort of stop the tyre. Just doing this with my wrist all the way down. It took me about an hour and a half or more to get it down and 3.5 hours to get it up. Like back breaking. And then for the next 2 or 3 weeks, my wrist just kept dislocating from that one. I couldn't even lock the door in the house. And when you pull your or you lift the handle up and you turn the key, every time I done that, my wrist just popping out. And it took a few weeks for that. And then it's just, I think Mont Fama, there's probably a lot more going to go on with that, with challenges.
A lot more challenges.
Yeah.
But I think when people are seeing that, though, some people might not, like you say, it is a big deal for some people to go up Mont Fama, isn't it? It's like, so I think when they're seeing you doing that, you'd like to think it'd inspire people to think, fucking hell, come on, I can at least walk up it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
You're obviously physically fit, but challenges like that, are they more to test you physically or mentally?
Mentally, definitely, yeah.
Just because you want to push yourself to the point where you're like, right, I don't want to do this anymore.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. Like the first flip on that Thai one, I was like, shit, what have I done here? This is a bad one, this. And then every flip was like, you're looking for excuses to just give it in. And I was saying, when I carried my body weight, as soon as I put my bag on, had power bags in it and a mace belt. As soon as I grabbed the 220 keys, kettlebells to make the weight up, I just felt this strain on my back, and I was like, what the fuck, why am I back here again? And then you just do it, I don't know, and I'll end up doing something else again another time, I know I will, but
it is weird, that mental thing, isn't it? I always tell like the story, I think I've told it on the pod before, when I done the Liverpool marathon, and I'd always got decent times for 10k and half marathon, and I'd done the marathon thinking I'd get a good time, and 18 miles in, I was fucked. Like, I was in a bad way, and I was genuinely thinking of ways I could break my prosthetic leg, so I'd have to stop. And then people would go, unlucky, your leg broke, unlucky. And I was genuinely thinking about kicking something so it would break, and it'd be an excuse. And then, like, do you know what I mean? So you could lie to people and go, my leg broke, and your mind's telling you all these crazy things.
Yeah.
To tell you
that's the battle, isn't it?
Mad.
Yeah, it is your mind.
Such an interesting concept, though, as to why your brain wants to give up. Do you know what I mean? Like, why are we wired to that point where we're like, I guess it's protecting itself, isn't it? Because it doesn't want you to go to exhaustion. But it's like that battle to get through it. It's like it's an unanswered human question, isn't it? Even though we've answered like most other things.
Because there's no reward. Yeah. There's no food, or it's not like you're back, hunter gatherer and you're out hunting for food. You're literally just doing it for nothing, really. Everything I've done is for nothing, and just a bit of self reward, if you like, just to say. I
think that's why it's so alien to people, because throughout evolution, anything humans have done is to get an end reward, isn't it? Like, I think they're free. It's like food, water, and sex, isn't it? Like, but then when you get to a point where you're pushing yourself that far, and you're like, why am I doing it?
Yeah,
it's when life becomes easier. So because there was never a time back in the past when we was hunter gatherers where you had time to go up a mountain, or why go up a mountain? There's no food up there.
That's what I mean. So, you never had the time to sit and be like, everything's easy, did you really? Because as I say, your three things was, am I alive? Can I reproduce? And do I have water? Yeah, and but now we live in a world where we've got everything.
Yeah, and that's why you're seeing like the most from human beings now. Yeah, with too much time on their hands, and it's crazy where people are going. And getting to. Like, there's a few people out there. Now, a few people say, if I get messages, some people say, "Oh, you're an animal or you're a machine." I don't really like it, because I think there is genuine machines out there, like Ross Edgley. He was on Ross Edgley, swam around the UK. That's one of the best things I've ever heard. That. In my life, like there's some people who are motivational and inspirational, but that what Ross Edgley done was just another level of hate, isn't it?
You had Nims as well recently, done the peaks,
the 14 peaks,
Oh yeah, I've seen it.
And the same with that,
He done a good quote as well, didn't he? He said like the mind will give up. When your mind says you're fucked, you're only like 60% fucked. Yeah. I think goes back to the mindset thing, isn't it?
I think it's good positivity though, isn't it? Because as good as you are in the challenges you're doing, there's always somebody else, isn't he, doing something crazier or something like, more extreme, and you're like, right, I'm done. It's the next thing. Do you know what I mean?
That's it. I'm never done yet. It's always right. He's done that, and let's see what we can do next time.
I think that's positive, really, because it just allows you to obviously keep pushing yourself to the limits, like.
Yeah.
So, growing up, not a screen, you said, was it, growing up?
Not a screen, it's where we grew up till I was about 15, and then we moved to the posh side, West Derby, which is like stepping over the road.
So, I mean, going through school and stuff like that, I mean, what did you want to be when you're older? Because I don't know anyone wants to grow up and be the Scouse Goggins at the time.
Just want to run up mountains, me.
No, it was, I didn't really have nothing I wanted to be. It was like, I think when we was younger, we were just scallies. Like, there's no other way to put it. We were just on the street, just scallies, really. And then school, I hated school. Never ever liked school. And so I was sagging as much as I could, never ever in. Only just told my mum most of this now. And she's found out that I was just never in school. I always had this fear that I used to get people to write me notes or write me own notes, you know, sick notes, that one day the headmaster's going to have them all laid out on the table and in every different handwriting say which one's your mum's. But school didn't go much, didn't do any exams, dropped out when I was 15. And then I started working with my dad at the garage, and then we left there, or I left there, and then slowly my life just went into, there's no other way to put it, went into drugs really. We did use drugs, I did smoke weed, and I've used drugs as well, but it was selling drugs, and then that was my early life really. Up to me 20s, I think I was 24, ended up getting caught on a big drug conspiracy and got 12 years for it. So most of my 20s was in jail then. And
how easy was it to just get, I know myself, like growing up in Bootle, like again, just a scally on the streets, I mean...
This is what I was saying, it's hard, I know what you're going to say, to get into drugs.
Yeah, like you just end up, was it an easy to just fall in?
So easy.
It's not a conscious decision, is it?
It's strange for people who haven't grew up in the environment we did. It's like, say for example, one of your neighbours could be the postman one week, and then the next week you're buying weed off him, and it was nothing. They weren't a big deal, and that was just so common. So it was just so easy to get into it.
Was it, as I said then, was it like, was you sitting there going, right, I want to get into that, or was it just like the sort of...
No, I did want to work. I did always try to work. I tried to get a job as a postman and nearly got it. And the last interview, I think, for some reason, I remember saying to them, said, do you want to ask us anything? And I said, what about dogs? And I don't even care about dogs, not scared of them. And he looked at me, I was like, yeah, dogs, you know, like it was a worry. And I just made that up. I just thought I needed to ask them a question. So I think that was the big reason I didn't get that job. And like that job could have changed my whole life, I don't know, but so yeah, it weren't something I wanted to get into. It was just, we were just criminals. We was...
I think that's so common, me. Like the fact, like I know we see, you know, you see it every day on like social media, someone gets 14 years, 20, 25 or whatever. But I always think in the back of my mind, not all of them set out to be kingpin drug dealers. Do you know what I mean? It's just, sometimes it's a consequence of your environment, isn't it?
Yeah. And a lot of them are good lads. A lot of them can be changed. Definitely can. It's just, it's not like, they're not like rapists or, you know, they're like real not criminals, not even criminals, but, you know, they can't be changed for me. That's like an illness, a disease, that's something different. But people who go away for drugs or robbing and that, they can be helped and changed, definitely.
Yeah, I think it's very obviously it's a delicate situation, but I just don't think, and I never have thought, that everyone who goes through the entrance of a prison is bad. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're going to have intelligent people in there, you're going to have people who are wrong place, wrong time, and some people who just don't have the confidence to say no. You know, they might be in a group of mates and everyone's like, and they just haven't got it in them to say, nah, that's not for me. They find themselves somewhere, and before you know it, it's, you know, you're doing a pretty hefty sentence, like.
But I mean, before, like, when I got arrested for drugs, just before that, I was a bit wild, to be honest. When younger people don't expect now, because I'm quite chilled now and my life's totally different. But when I was younger before then, did live a bit of a wild life. I was involved with guns and everything, you name it, like what was going on in this city, I was involved with it. And I was just that person. I weren't really scared of nothing, I weren't bothered about nothing, I weren't even bothered about going to jail. I knew it was going to come. It's like I'd already accepted I'm going to go to jail at some point because of the life I live. So I weren't, it was like I knew, you know, at some point I was going to end up there. But some of the things we was involved with, it weren't until it went away. And like I seen people who were serving life, and I was like, fucking hell, that could have been me, because we was doing all crazy stuff when we was younger. And it weren't until I seen them, you know, like 30 years, 35-year wrecks where they're not getting out. I was like, even though I got 12, it was like, that's okay, I can live with that. I'll get out after 6. But like when they're getting 30 for you know, for murder and things like that. And we was involved with a lot of stuff, a lot of bad stuff. So it was a big wake-up call that, fuck this, I don't want to be doing this.
Did you not have that wake-up call until you got arrested? I mean, was there a point where, like you say, you kind of just fell into it? Was there a point where, when things started getting heavy, you were kind of like, fucking hell, like, maybe I should get out or get out of this life? Or did it not really hit you until you got nicked?
I did, with all like the violent side and that, definitely, yeah. I think when I met me missus, I was trying to come out of it, but we was having that much like shit, if you like, with different firms in different parts of the city, and yeah, I did, but so you can't just step out and just say, oh, listen lads, I don't want to know no more. You know what I mean? You was involved, and it was still going on, so you had to be careful everywhere I went, and you had to think things where you was pulling up in a car, or if you was going to a restaurant, and it was just a bit of a mad few years of my life, to be honest. But yeah, I did see the light with that, like this is bullshit, you know what I mean? I just didn't want to be involved in that. But the drugs, I think that was a bit deeper. That didn't, at this point, been doing it for that long, we didn't know what else to do, or how to step aside from that.
Was I was thinking, yeah, sorry mate, I was
going to say, was it the money, was it like a law and stuff like that, was it, or everything, was it?
Yeah, it weren't even, it was just like, that's what we knew. So the money, it weren't like, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying we weren't big massive millionaire drug dealers, it was never like that. I know some people do well, but sometimes we'd hit and miss and it'd be alright, and then next minute you weren't doing so well, and that's how it was with us. I'm saying us, back a few of my mates who was always with, but so yeah, it weren't like it weren't plain sailing all the time. It weren't just this thing you see on the telly where it's just so easy and the money's just flowing everywhere. It's never like that.
Yeah.
It's a lot harder. It was probably easier to earn money working than what we done. So yeah, it's never what everyone thinks. Yeah.
Because you don't have any other option though, do you? It's not like you can sit there with your tea one night and go, right, I'm gonna jump to the tools tomorrow. Do you know what I mean? It's not like you're blessed with options, are you? Do you know what I mean?
Leaving school early and had no trade and had nothing. And my dad was a big, I'm not knocking him for this, but he was like, fuck school, fuck exams, piece of paper, load of shit. And like, that's all he used to say to us. So we just grew up like, oh, fuck school. What are we going to get out of it? So we just weren't bothered about it. And then when you do leave and now you've got nothing to fall back on, it's like, that was it. That's what I knew. So that's what I was doing.
What?
And
I'm sorry.
No, and that's what I'm saying. And next minute you're just sitting in a cellar.
What was that like then, mate? When you get nicked and you're in court and all that, and then it's that kind of, because mate, I done one night in St Anne's once, mate, and fuck me, fucking broke me, mate. I mean, what was that like? I mean, when it just was like, right, you're going down.
So, like I say, I've always known it was going to happen. We got nicked with a big parcel lad come in on a plane, and it was quite a big. It weren't our stuff. We was working on it, so I'm not, weren't our operation flying planes and that. But so we knew we was going away for a long time straight away. But we sort of accepted it. Me and my mate, being my mate since we were young, we both got nicked, and we just accept it. And like I do now with being positive, I was like that then. I just weren't so much into the fitness. I always trained, but I weren't like so extreme. So from day one, that was it. We just, let's make the most of it. So it was more a big deal for me missus. She was pregnant and my son was 1 at the time. So it was the big deal. Like obviously for me as well, I was going to miss my kids growing up, but it was definitely harder for her.
And what was the time like in prison? Because again, you're kind of...
Yeah, it's hard, this one, Andy, because like we had such a good time, because I'm just that person, and like whoever we was around, me mate's the same as me, was like really positive. We'd try and help everyone. So if we had a mate in there who's smoking, we'd make it our mission to stop him smoking, and we'd just be winding them up and hiding the ciggies or throwing them away, and they're not expensive in there. We just throw them away out the window on them, say stop buying them. So we just always messing around doing things like that, and I jumped on any course I could, gym courses, health courses, anything done. I got better trades now from jailing anyway, plumber, only level 1 stuff, basic stuff, but I learned so much in there. And so there was loads of good times, and sometimes that's all you remember, the good times. And you've got to remember the bad times, when something's happened at home and you're sitting in there and you can't do nothing, you're stuck in a cell. Like you forget all them. It's like pain, you forget pain. So you do a challenge and then you forget the pain and you're like, yeah, I'll do something else. But when you're doing that challenge and you're in that pain, or like a woman giving birth, similar, never again, but then you're programmed to forget pain.
Yeah.
So I think it's similar to that. I think you're sort of programmed as well, and you forget the bad stuff and just remember all the good stuff. And we had loads of good times in there.
That's good though, because I thought you were going to say, because you hear some stuff about the justice system where in other countries it's better, as they do try and rehabilitate you more and stuff, but so I didn't think you were going to say that, so it was good then, you felt like you got, you were able to kind of try and better yourself in there.
There's loads of options in there if you want it. A lot of people don't, they just don't care, they're just there to get through the time, but yeah, there's a lot more opportunities when you're in jail or when you get out. In probation will help you do loads of stuff, but as soon as you're done, that's it. You're done then. Once your probation finishes, there's no help.
Yeah. I think the worry would be, like, obviously you go into jail because you sort of fell into this life. Like, I always think in my own mind, like, how easy would it be to walk through prison and then, just find lads who are in prison doing stuff that is just going to keep them in the system, do you know what I mean? How hard is it to go, right, I'm going to be, I know you were naturally a positive person, but it would have been easy, wouldn't it, to just, like, befriend people who were doing, stuff wrong in there, and then just stay in there for the rest of your days, you know what I mean? Oh
yeah, definitely, yeah. There's a whole, like, in prison, there's like a whole other city of shit going on. There's still all the gang stuff, there's still more drugs in there than outside. So it is hard in there still. You've got to, to stay clean. You've got to really turn your back on everything, yeah. Because it's like a program. It's like you start, if you're doing a big sentence like Cat B, if you're unlucky, Cat A. We was nearly Cat A, because they was like sitting on the fence because of how big the drugs was we got arrested for. They was going to Cat A us. So the first 6 days, I think 3 days in St Anne's and 3 days in the block with no communication whatsoever while they were deciding. So there was no phone calls and nothing to anyone. And then, yeah, it's like you're working then towards your Cat D, like to get out, working out and get home leaves and town visits and stuff like that. So you try and stay as good as you can. It's like to get your brownie points, if you like, because if you don't, you just don't get it, and you'll stay in Cat B or something, your full sentence.
And was that your mindset then, as soon as you got in there, was like, I'm going to take advantage of all these courses and come out and turn me back on
and
that
change,
life?
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
That's positive then, because I'm guessing, the other attitude would be, well, I'm fucking in here now, do you know what I mean? I'm fucking, what else can I do, do you know what I mean? I'm just going to get through this and then go back and...
And loads do, like we've seen so many come in and out when we were serving our sentence, they weren't doing as long as us, but they'd be like, that's it, and then they'd go a few months later, the fucking gate opens and walking back in. And like, some people just can't shake it.
That's the sad part, isn't it? Because some people are just, in my opinion anyway, I think some people from certain communities, they're railroaded into prison, aren't they? There's not much other... I know people do get out, but there's not much other option for them, really.
No.
And sometimes it's like a safety zone, isn't it? All the mates are in there. Everything they've ever known is in prison.
It is, it is
them,
too,
it's better to be in there.
Yeah, you do get that. I mean, there's people done... To some people, what I done's a long sentence. I served 6 years, so it's a long time to be away. But on the bigger picture, like, there's people doing life or 15, 20 year recs and then getting out. So, to them, they've spent most of life in there. But even when I got out, I remember me first, I think it was a town visit, or it might have been an home leave, and we went for a meal with my mum and that. And there was too many people, and I was looking at the fire exits thinking, I'm just going to run through them any second, I can't be here. I just couldn't wait to get back in jail. And as soon as I got back from my town visit, I was like, oh, fuck. I just lie in my bed, and that was my home. That's where I was comfy. So it's a big...
It's mad, that, isn't it?
It's like institutionalised, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, yeah. And that's saying, and that's just off 6 years. Yeah. So you can imagine, people who are doing longer.
How long did that take you to kind of... It reminds me of that film of the Shawshank Redemption where he hangs himself at the end.
It's like you say, you say when you come back from like Afghan and stuff, things change and you change, don't you? Do you know what I mean? Like you're not the same person that goes in, and then when you come out, like you sort of expect the world to have kept up with your imagination of what's going on.
That's it. Even like all my mates, everything could change. So most of my mates who used to knock about with were gone, or they'd stop doing what they were doing, and it was just a massive shake up. It's like to get out. So it took a while. I was just lost when I got out. Didn't know what to do. But I was training. When we was in jail, that's all we done. We trained mad, crazy, 3-4 times a day. And different jails are different. So some you'll only get gym a few times a week, and then we train in the cell. And some you could train all day. you could have 3 or 4 sessions a day in the gym.
What are you doing session-wise? Just all, like...
They were always, like, killer sessions, barbell workouts, dumbbell workouts, cardio workouts, like every session was a killer session where I used to literally train, go and eat, have a power nap, and then just walk with my head down back to the gym. And as soon as it was started, like, I'd come alive then, and I'd be alive. But then as soon as I finished, didn't have much energy for nothing else, just be walking around, just fucking head down, just think of the next session. And like that was it for years.
And did you have like much kind of guidance, or did you know what to do anyway? Like, is there,
yeah, we sort of learnt it, but there was the second year in, we went to the prison in Nottingham, Loudon Grange, like a Cat B private jail, and it was like the place to be. If you was in jail, this was the place to be. The gym, it had a full 11-side football pitch, brand new, just being fitted. You had phones in your cell, so you didn't need a mobile. You could have, you could ring out, no one could ring you. So they earn money from it, because a private jail, they're about earning money.
Like a private hospital.
Yeah. So everything they done there was to try keep everyone happy. It's got loads of gym, and if you worked in there, you could actually earn all right wages as well. They had jobs for like Airbus, fitting parts for Airbus and things like that. So I think in there we met a Manchester lad, Paul. We used to call him the Sarge, and he was like so ahead of the time. Like he was getting CrossFit workouts posted in. This was 2007. I don't think there was any CrossFit gyms in Liverpool then. Or I don't think it was a big thing, because so we sort of learnt off him. He showed us so much stuff and how to train properly and do all, your core properly and that. And like he was a big help, and then we just didn't look back from there really, doing all the courses and that.
I guess it's a boss thing to, if you are in jail, to just, you've expended all your energy, so you are just, fucked all the time.
Oh yeah, the routine, like I used to have a mad routine. Used to brush my teeth at 9 o'clock and then be in bed for like 9:10, and then lights out by probably past. I was snoring every night, perfect. It was like just train, eat and sleep, train, eat and sleep. That's all you've done. And have no worries, nothing. Obviously, you had your worries of your family outside, but if they was okay, there was nothing to worry about.
I know you've been taken away from your missus, and you've missed certain parts of your kids' lives. But do you reckon there's an argument jail was good for you?
Yeah, this the thing. Yeah, like I don't recommend jail to anyone. It is no good. But for me, it put me on the right path, because it so easily could have been away from murder. Like that's the truth, without trying to sound mad and nothing. That's just the truth. That's what we used to do, all just crazy stuff, and it could have easily been that. So them 6 years was probably the best thing that happened to me, to be honest. Yeah,
I think it's good to hear. Like, I was about to say success story then, but it's not success, but it's good to hear someone like come out the other side of it as like, a positive influence, good person, because you hear so much, don't you? Like they go in and things don't turn out like you have. But it's good to see that, because who knows where you could have been, which is the scary part.
Yeah, well that's what I mean. It is a bad place. There's bad people in there without a doubt, and it can. We had it easy, to be honest. It was okay. There was never had a problem with anyone in there. But you can, and it can be a horrible place. Yeah. So you just don't want to go there. Yeah. Hands down now.
I think it's fascinating to know. I've spoke to Jordan about this. Is when I was in Afghan, it was arguably one of the best and easiest times of my life, because again, a bit like you, I'm not trying to sound all mad, but you woke up in the morning, went for a fight with the Taliban, you came back, cleaned your weapon, had a shower, and then just played cards with the lads. Went to the gym. That was it. Yeah. You didn't have to worry about a mobile phone, social media, didn't have to pay any bills, have to check in with any friends and family. It was just, went for a fight, come back, cleaned your weapon, trained in the gym, had a shower, played cards, went to bed.
Simple things in life. Yeah.
And I think the bigger, deeper kind of thing is about that purpose and that routine thing, which obviously you had in prison. Yeah. I had it in Afghan, and there's not a lot of people now in today's society that kind of have this structure where it's quite simple, but it works. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. Oh, definitely, yeah. Yeah, it is.
We're all overloaded though, aren't we? We're overloaded with everything.
That's it.
Everyone's got things going on constantly that might not even be your problem, or you shouldn't really be involved. but just the way life's designed, all of our brains are constantly working, aren't they? Whereas when you wake up in prison or Afghanistan, it's like, right, what have I got to do today? I've got to make sure I'm there. I've got to do that.
There's nothing to worry about, but just that, like you said, what you're doing. And for us, it was gym. Like that's all. Every jail I'd put into work in the gym or be a cleaner. Because if you was a cleaner, you always had loads of time. You could do a lot more. Could have done a lot more courses, to be honest. But I was just so obsessed with the gym. So that was it. Just wherever it was put in. If you got a job in the gym, then you was training all day.
What about coming out then? Like once you do, obviously get out and you're back in the world, so to speak. Like what's the plan then?
Yeah, so there was none. Like it was hard. Like say some of my mates who used to be involved with drugs and had moved, got out of it themselves without going to jail. They just give up and moved over and started working. And so one of my mates got me a job on what I'm still doing now. I'm still doing it now on concrete repairs, like just helping out and that. But it was hit and miss. I'd work for a bit and then I'd just be lost again. And then, just trying to find stuff. I passed my gym courses in jail, but I never started PT and I didn't have the confidence to do it, even though that's all I done in jail was training. And I used to plan workouts, and most time it was me pushing, for what we was doing or organising it. But when I got out, I didn't have the confidence. It took me years to finally set a little gym up and start training people. But when I was first out was I got into MMA. Just before I got nicked, I was doing like basic MMA with my brother, and when I went away he started fighting properly for the Wolf Slayer. I don't know if you've ever heard of the Wolf Slayer. Yeah, it's like where Bisping and all that from. So my brother was mates, went through all the training with all them. So I missed that, but I was still doing bits in jail. I'd meet a few lads, who were involved in it. So I'd start doing what I could, and then my first proper home leave, we drove from the jail up in, where was this one? Up by Whitby. Whitby, York, is it? Up them ways, yeah. Straight, my brother come and grabbed me straight to the Wolf's Lair. I didn't even go home. Just went right to the pro fighters class and just got my head booted in by everyone in there. Just got fucked for like about 2 hours. And then I just kept going whenever I could, any home leave, or when I started working out, I was just in the gym. And then so I had a little go of MMA when I got out as well. Just I had a couple of fights and it was too difficult I weren't earning money. So it was like, it's a lot of time, MMA. You've got to, you can do an hour or two a day, but some kids doing 6 hours a day.
It's only recently that money's come into MMA as well, really, that you can earn like a living out of it. Yeah. A lot of people would just fight. But
that's me, and a lot of people like the old school fighters, a lot of the lads I was training with would have done so well now, but they sort of missed the boat, with all the money and sponsors and that, just weren't a big thing then. No. But they were like quality fighters.
And I was watching Bisping's documentary actually the other day. He's just brought a documentary out about his life, and he was saying like, sort of when he was doing MMA, people were like, "Whoa, cage fighting? Like, why are you doing that? Like, you're not gonna go anywhere doing that." And it's to see where it's come now, where people are earning like the money that they're earning doing it. You just could never have foreseen it, really, because it was always.
It's like life now, isn't it? There's so many opportunities now. From before, there was no social media when I went away, or even when I was getting out, I couldn't get my head around it. So I didn't use it. So most of the stuff I used to do, it was never for social media. Yeah. It was just for me. So it was like...
Sorry, mate.
Go on, John.
It's mad, like, as you say, all the options. We've just been talking about how many problems they bring. When your life's simple is when, like, things are good. But then, like, the good side of it is that we can all sort of earn money in so many ways now. And everyone can earn a living so easily now, can't they? And it's like...
That's it, so you can't knock it, can you?
It's good or bad, it's hard.
You've got to just know how to use it properly. Because some people just get swamped with just the wrong stuff, following the wrong people, or listening to all the negative stuff, and it can just drain you. But if you're following people who like do inspire, or you get a bit of motivation from, and then you're up and out, aren't you? Yeah. That's what it does for me anyway. Just if I'm ever having a lazy day, or I'm sitting there and I flip on Instagram and I see, because most people who follow are all active doing stuff, only have to see what I'm doing, so fuck this, I'm out. get me kit.
I used to say that all the time after I do the motivational speaking. People say to me, what are the kind of few bits of advice and stuff. And the first thing I say is you know, it's people who you're surrounded by. And when I was going through my rehabilitation in Headley Court, you know, I'd just been injured, and there were lads like maybe a year down the line, past their recovery, you know, who had no legs, and they were learning to ski. They were climbing mountains. They were like, you know, I've got a mate with one arm who's climbed Everest. You know, I've got a mate who's got no legs who's swam across the channel.
Yeah.
I was like, it's fucking dead easy for me to stay motivated, because I was just looking and, you know, he's got no legs and he's just swam the channel.
Yeah, still doing
I'm hanging around with this lad every day. So that's why I'm motivated. And I didn't have to try and be inspired. It was just there because that's what I was surrounded by.
It's so easy to go the other way though, isn't it? Because for every like positive person who's like, right, I'm out and out, or, you know, not even just active, you know, people who are just positive people in any sense, but there's just a massive other side of it, isn't there? Where people like stay in bed.
It is. I've just, the two of the lads who are training, I've just been speaking to them about it then, like, because I've had a shit weekend, had a bit of a lazy weekend, and ate loads of shit yesterday, and it was just one of them weekends, and two of the lads are the same. And I said, so imagine the people who do that every day and they don't train. Like we'd be in the gym, train this morning, feel great again, I'll be clean all week now, and I'll have a good week training and eating, and I'll feeling good already. But the people who don't train or don't do it, who just eat shit, and then you wake up and you feel terrible. I felt terrible this morning. Didn't even want to go to the gym, didn't even want to do the class. And then, but once you do, you feel better. But the people who don't, they just live in that constant, like just down constantly. I don't think some people understand that you can feel good. Because they've never done it.
I don't think it's for a lot of people, I don't believe it's a conscious thing. I don't think people consciously think, I want to eat shit to feel bad, or I want to be lazy to feel bad, or I want to do this to feel bad. I don't think they actually want to do it, but it's just a lifestyle, isn't it? You fell into it, and like that's how you live, and then you don't understand that the other side of it.
I think that's interesting what you said there, though. You know, I don't think what you both said, you know, so there are people like that all the time, but I don't think, like you say, they maybe realise that you can actually feel good.
Yeah.
I think their level that they're at, of, you know, eating shite every day and not working out, they think that's normal. Where they're probably like fucking, you know, minus down here.
Yeah, and it's just trying to pull them out, like, and get them involved with stuff. That's why I've been doing the walks I do. We get people on my walks. I've never ever had anyone say, that was shit, that. No. I'm not coming back. Every single walk's like, wow, when's your next one? And people, you know, who've never really done it, and they get outside, and that's the big thing for me, the mountains. I love the gym, I'll never not be in the gym, but the mountains is where I feel my best. And like anyone who comes, you know, if they've never done them, as soon as they come, they just changes them.
Never been a person who's regretted a walk, has he? Do you know what I mean?
No. Never, that's what I always say from this, and I promise you, whatever, even if the wind's nearly blowing us off the edge of the mountain, and like you feel like you're gonna die, because that happens quite a lot to me anyway. They're the best days. And then you get home, I always say, wait till you feel your hot bath when you get home. Not when you think like you mightn't get home, or you have a pint or a cup of tea, and it's like a few hours before, you're like, shit, fucking this is a bad place here. And then next minute you're in a hot bath again, you're like, oh, thank fuck. That bath just will feel so much different than your normal bath that you have every day.
What when did this come about then? So you've kind of come out jail, and when did this kind of vibe of, right?
So when I first got out, I was doing MMA, but I was still doing like all the, you know, like the Tough Mudders, any like challenges. I was booking half marathons and 10k runs and anything I could find, nearly just to stay busy and have a little goal. And then I think it was like 5Ks, 10Ks, half marathons, Tough Mudders. I was still doing all the fighting, saying that, but then I found the fan dance, which you'll know. I just stumbled on it. I didn't know what it was. Just seeing a 24k like hike carrying 20 odd key, and it's that tough. Your legs are dancing up the fan. I think that's where it comes from, isn't it? So I said to mate, let's book on this. Booked on. He pulled out because he was having a baby. So I went on my own, and that was the big change. That it was like we were saying before, when I was coming back, it's like a 15-mile military race. It was set up by ex-special forces to want to booked on, and it's like, so you go up and down Penny Fan, South Wales highest mountain twice, and on the way back up there's a route called Jacob's Ladder, and it's steep. It's like that. Have you ever done it?
Yeah.
Did you do it? Yeah, because it's a big thing for the army, isn't it?
4 or 5 commando. Yeah, we've done it before, just before Afghan.
What training like?
We just the whole company, the whole unit, I think it was, went down there and just done a big unit race type thing.
Yeah. So coming back up, I had my bag, this 20 key, had all dumbbells duct taped together from the gym, and some weights to put in my bag, and I was looking to throw it. I was like, what the fuck is this? I was fucked, like never been that tired, and I was thinking, I'll just throw the bag here, cut that way to the car, and no one will see me again. And that was my mind again on this, and anyway, end up finishing in a good time, the first one. But that was it. Like, I was seeing the fella Ken Jones, who's like the director, who's got a brilliant story. Ken was ex-Special Forces, and he was in an avalanche in Romania, and smashed his hip and his femur, and he crawled off this mountain for like 3 days. Got a brilliant book, and so anyway, seeing him, bought his book and that, and was reading his book, and then that was it. Then I was just hooked on that, spending time with them. So kept booking every race they had on. They put all the SAS test marches on, all of them. So I'd done all of them,
really,
all the different weights. Yeah, just driving.
So what you done the hills? You done like?
I've done them all them races. Yeah, I was good on them all, to be honest. There was like...
Was you nav on them as well yourself?
Yeah, I learnt all my nav. So there was one of the guys, Stuart Big, he's like a good mate of mine now. He was working for Ken, and he put a nav day on. So I jumped on his nav day in the Peak District, I think we was. And then I just kept spending time with Stuart. A lot of my stuff come from Stuart, to be honest. He's just got this like fucker attitude. So when we was first out with him, we'd see a big river, fast flowing, and you'd be looking what way round, and you'd be like, we're going through it. Why he's looking round? And that was his attitude. So spending so much time with him, that was it. I was just hooked on it all. So I just kept going back and back to do more fan dance. Like they do a back-to-back one where you done it Saturday and Sunday, and then they do it at Trident where you done Saturday morning, Saturday night, Sunday morning, and then there was a night where there was just loads. I just spent a few years driving.
So for anyone who doesn't know as well, like, so the military, when you want to go down Special Forces, you go down and do hills, like the hills selection. You spend, I think, 2 or 3 weeks down there or something, basically just running up and down these mountains, but you have to nav it yourself and stuff. You're doing night nabs and all kinds. And
yeah,
it's
brutal, really brutal. Yeah.
Like
them conversations you have in your head, like I remember going one of them, I think it was Iron Man, I think one was called Iron Man. It was a heavy weight, like 55 pound plus food and water in your bag. They used to give us a scaffold pole because obviously we couldn't have the guns, could we? And I remember getting set off. You always got set off on your own because you was navving on your own.
Yeah.
And I went into this like a hedge like that and fell, and it was like mud in there, and I couldn't get up, and I was stuck on my back, and I was looking up at the sky, and I was just going, what the fuck are you doing? Why are you here? Go home and go and spend time with your wife and that. And then, but it's small man stuff, and then eventually I got myself rolled over like a big rhino and got up and carried on and finished it. And then no matter what, I had so many arguments with myself doing them test marches, like just because you'd be hours on your own with no one around in fog and just relying on your compass and nothing else, just thinking, just follow this bear and you'll get there. And no matter what I said, as soon as it was over and I was on my way home, I was back on my phone booking something else.
Do you reckon them conversations are healthy for everyone to have, like them inner like battles? Do you know what I mean? Well, it could be anything. I know yours is fitness, but it could be anything, couldn't it? Like in any sort of part of your life.
Definitely, yeah. I always say, I think that's like when you really find out who you are, when you have them deep conversations with yourself. Yeah, that's why I love going on my own, spend so much time on my own on the mountains, just running or whatever.
I did have that thing myself, like when I joined the Marines, I was always, sounds a bit like sadistic, but I always wanted to know how I'd react given certain situations, you know what I mean? I'd always like, and then even when it comes to going to Afghan, I thought like, well, how will I react like when the fucking shit hits the fan? You know, how will I react when I'm fucked? How will I react when do you know what I mean? That weird feeling.
Yeah, that was my exact same thing, growing up. That was why with jail, I was the same. It was like I almost wanted to go to jail to sort of see
How you
Let's
cope
see
and how
we
you
are in
react.
jail.
Yeah.
It's the rawest human like nature like trait that though, isn't it? Going all the way back, like it's like what will happen if we, you know, even if you go back and back, like what will happen if we get that land, or what will happen if we eat this piece of fruit, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like it's just ingrained in humans, but obviously we're at a point now where we know how to block it out, which is why 99.9% of people will block it out.
Choose not to ask themselves those questions. Yeah.
I think it is healthy to have, like, it's 100%, you know, I think we've all had them, and I've done it before, and we've all taken the easy door out a few times. I remember someone saying to me when I was playing footy years ago, if you know where the back, once you know where the back door is, you'll always use it. And it's so true. Like once you do step out of that back door, just once, you'll always know.
That's why they say like you like never quit once, because once you do it once, it's like
it becomes normalised.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, so normal. But the army, I don't know. I think spending all the time, the lads I did try go to the army once when we were saying when I was younger, it weren't like I just like home on sell drugs. I think I was 18 and I'd been nicked for being in a stolen car, like being carried in it. So we went to town, never forget, walked in town to join the army. Said, sign me up, mate. He was like, have you got any criminal convictions? And stupidly I said, yeah. It was like a minor thing. I went, only this stupid thing, got nicked in a car, a robbed car. I was like, we'll come back in 3 years. I was like, mate, I'm 18, I'm practically on the streets, it's now or never. Not going to come back in 3 years. And he went, it's got to be spent. I'll never forget the Navy fella next to him. You know, there was an Army fella, Navy fella. He went, come over here, you can join the Navy. We're not asked. I was like, nah, fuck that Navy, mate. I don't want to be sitting on a boat. He said, it's the Army or nothing. And he was like, no, you got to come back when your time's spent.
Could have joined the Marines, lads.
Would that have stopped you, like, just like a minor conviction? Would that? I don't know.
Obviously, the Marines come under the Navy, obviously, which I obviously went down. I don't know whether.
I didn't know enough, like, to know that. I just thought, I just the Navy thinking,
well, you do, don't you? Just thinking about,
I was just thinking the Army was me,
in
do you know what I mean?
Mm. So I've said that to you before, though. If you're not in the military, I don't think you understand the different sectors of what it is. You would react like that.
Shit. So obviously I was in the Marines. The Marines is different to the Army. And Jordan goes like, why'd you get so bothered when people say you're in the Army, not the Marines? And I'm like, because there's a big difference. You have like the Marines do this, you know, the Army do that, the Navy do that, the RAF do that. But again, if you don't know, you just walk in, you just think they fly planes, they're on ships, and they're, you know, and that's it.
It's crazy, like, that. Obviously I've understood it more, like, getting to know you, but it is crazy because you don't know where you've had many of these little moments where like your life could have been so much different if there was just one little conversation was different.
Like, it's such a shame to think that, like, you know, if you'd known about the Marines, like, you've ended up being mates with loads of lads who've Marines, Special Forces, and
because well, a lot of them don't even. I'm never being ashamed of going to jail and I'm not proud, but I'm not ashamed of it either. It's just it was the life I lived, but I don't really openly talk about it to anyone. If someone asks me, I'll tell them anything. But so a lot of the lads, the Special Forces lads and that, don't even know I've been away. But I think when I'm speaking to them, they've lived a similar life. It's just they've went in there first. Otherwise 100%. They could have been where I was.
All the lads I know in the military, in the Marines, I've got a lot of now mates in Special Forces. They're all lads like me, and you've grown up in the likes of Norris Green, Bootle, Heighton, you know, and I've been Scars at one point, and then I've thankfully made a decision early on in their life, and they've had the similar mindset to us, and it's just they've just happened to put their energy into that.
The only separating factor is direction, innit? Like, when you look at, you know, you can do all the studies you want. The only separating factor between the people in, like, the military, even like people who are in elite sport, boxing, MMA, and then people who are in jail, the only difference is that them people were maybe pointed towards the right road where the other people fell through the cracks. Do you know what I mean?
It is,
it's not, they're not better people, or, you know, and they're not worse criminals. It literally is just direction. And it's a tiny precipice, isn't it?
That little push, a little help, is all someone needs sometimes, And
I think that's why the whole conversation about rehabilitation is so important, isn't it? Because I think a lot of people who do go, you know, into jail or whatever, they're just tarred with bad unless they get themselves out of it, they're just a bad egg then. But, you know,
you've proved as well, obviously mentally and physically, that you've more than had what it takes to kind of physically anyway to go down the special forces route. So it's mad yet, I think.
Yeah, I know. Well, that's a few of the lads who didn't know of being away then, because obviously with the big sentence, you've got no chance of joining anyway. They're like, why they put the age up? You know, why don't you go for it? For like the reserves and that. Yeah. I'm going, nah, I haven't got the time and that. I should have really just said, listen, I went away, but I never anyway. But yeah, but they all used to say that. Like,
do you ever wonder when you're obviously doing the activities the same? Do you ever wonder what it would have been like to obviously be to have that life? Sort of thing?
I definitely think it was me. Like I had loved like all that time I spent with them lads down there, willingly paying. Weren't like I was getting paid or it was part of the job. I just loved it. Go down and pay to just get beasted for a weekend, like have crazy weekends. And I used to treat it like the military, like they put us on guard and you wouldn't get no sleep. Just all the little things that they probably do for real.
Do you know, there's a saying we used to have in the military, like when we'd be getting beasted and when we'd be running up these fucking hills and doing all this shite, they'd say, stop fucking moaning, civvies pay thousands for this.
Yeah.
And do you know what I mean? You're getting paid to do it. Yeah. And they'd always say, fucking civvies are paying thousands to do this. And
you should do that show. What's that show called? The famous fella?
Oh, SAS Who Dares Wins.
You should do that.
Well, do you know what? Loads of people used to say that to me. And I applied once back in, I was still on probation. And I applied and I told them a bit of my story. I'd been to jail, and this woman, like, must have been, part of like the recruitment. Something was casing me. Come to Manchester, we'll pay you travel and that. And I missed the appointment, and she was back on me. And I was thinking, they just want me there for me past, you know what I mean, to bring her up, because I've seen what they do on there. They get in the room like, you're a fucking scumbag and all that. And because me kids were young and didn't really know, and I just shit out. I didn't. I reckon I could have got on it, but then I applied again a few years later when I was in a bit of a better place in my head, and I passed the fitness and all that, and then they didn't get back to me. So I think sometimes it's like your face got to fit. Or if you are fit and you are good at it, you won't really make good TV.
Because they need someone.
Yeah, you got to have some flaws in your fitness levels, haven't you?
Because all the stuff that they doing on that, I do myself anyway. I grab the bags and I sit in the cold water and do all that stuff. So
you'd be like the cheat code, mate, if we boss to watch. Just them, not just trying to find a way to make you quit.
So going back then, I keep on interrupting as well because I'm just fascinated by you. So when you're going down, mate, with all these lads and stuff and paying to do these courses, at what point is it becoming like maybe a viable career for you to kind of start your own, if you like?
Yeah, so the mountains become a big thing then. I was just hooked on the mountains. Any chance I got, I was driving somewhere on my own again most of the time. I'd mates who come with me, but they kept letting me down, so I just thought, I'm doing this on my own. And then I think it was, it might have been Ken or Stuart said, why don't you look into your mountain leader award? And then I just went down that road then. But it was, I don't know how many times I've done that fan dance or them races with them, but eventually Ken said, do you want to come on our team now? Do you want to work with us on the other side? I was like, no, I want to still run, I want to race, I want to win more. And he's going, because I've won it 4 times, that fan dance, and I won this other one, Australian clicker, 20k one. I've won a few of them or come.
For people who don't know, man, you need to know that this is not just
throwaway award.
This is not just that, mate. That's fucking incredible. That.
Yeah,
4 times you've won it.
4 times, yeah. It was.
Fucking hell, mate.
So I'd done loads with them. So when he was trying to get me to work with them, then I was like, nah, I want to get a sub 3 hour. My fastest time was 3:05, and the SAS pass time is 4 hours, isn't it? On the fan dance. But it's different because we're running to like get a time in the SAS. They're just going to pass, aren't they? There's no incentive in beating the time by an hour because you're probably getting another 10 mile off the bus, aren't you? So it's different to try compare it. But anyway,
impressive, mate.
Yeah. And I end up saying yes. So I was working with them for the last few years as well, just as a mountain leader, like safety on the team.
Brilliant.
So it was boss just loved it, spending time with all the lads who've seen and been there and done it for real, and then just watching them, how they work and how they move on the mountains and picking the brains. All done all my like first aid and what's it called, first aid, where remote remote first aid where
you got no equipment,
wilderness, all that stuff, So it was a good few years of my life, I think, just going down there,
And then obviously that's when you started Peak Elevation and then mountain guiding.
Yeah, and then I got into took me 2 years to do. I was still working as well on this, so I think when I did
the concrete and stuff,
I had a good job with them, to be honest. I had a van and a fuel card. My mate was the local boss, and I had it quite easy. And I was like a manager in the end, site manager. But I just loved the mountains, and in my head, I couldn't start the mountains until I left my job, so I just left it and then started the mountains. I should have really kept the job and done the mountains over a weekend, because I could have. But in my head, I was thinking, I've got to fucking leave this and then start that.
You don't strike me as the person who'd like to do that, mate. You're like an all-in type of guy.
It's not half-hearted kind of guy, you know.
So, and then that's when I started the gym as well, like the personal training, to get some wages, you know, just bill money through the week. And then I've been on and off with that for years. I've sacked it again and gone back to work, and then I picked it up. But now I've got this gym. I think I'm going to keep doing it, really.
And have you found, mate, I mean, obviously I'm similar mindset to yourself. Obviously you've, done far more mountains than me, but with a similar mindset at least. How have you found starting the mountain guiding for, like, let's say normal civvies, if you like?
Yeah, just normal people.
Yeah, what's been the kind of take up for that? Have you found people have enjoyed it? What's that been like?
Yeah, mostly people love it and they love being involved, but sometimes, people say, oh, you've got the best job, you love the mountains, so you're out, but I say, no, you don't understand. When you've got a group, it's not really what I love doing. I love running on my own, I love being on my own. When you're with a group, your mind's making sure everyone's, well, not your mind, but you've got to make sure everyone's safe. And then if you get a little moaner, you do get them, and they can just drain you. So you try and change them, but some people won't be changed, and like they can spend the day, how long left? I'm like, fuck off, will you? Just enjoy it.
Yeah.
We'll be back when we're back. And so it's sometimes they're rare though, to be fair. Most people who come, even if they're unfit, they still smile and get on with it.
Yeah. There's a thing, isn't there, mate? It's off a film, I can't remember what film, but it says, a good person can, you can try and bring people up, but not everyone, wants to get brought up and all that.
Horse to water sort of thing.
But someone, a good person can bring another person up, and sometimes they will, and sometimes they won't. But one bad person can bring someone down.
Oh, mate,
do you know what I mean? Yeah. That's what it takes. Like, if that negative person, they can.
They can, yeah.
Mate, we all know it. We've all got them in our lives. It's just like, some will have a positive impact on me, and I'll like go, oh, that was great, that was positive. But that might last a minute or something like that. But
that's what I mean. The negative is stronger to like bring you down. Do you know what I mean?
I can still be thinking about it at 2:00, and it was 10:00 in the morning when they done something that pissed me off. Do you know what I mean? It's I don't know why we do it, but we just cling on to that horrible stuff.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, we used to have a thing where when we'd first get the group together in the morning, it was like, right, rule number 1 is no moaning. We don't fucking care. Don't pass any moans on, because they just spread like fire.
Yeah.
Now if someone says, my knee's gone here, and then someone else goes, I've got a niggle in my knee, and then before you know it, everyone's moaning about all stupid things. Like, we don't care. Just get on with it. Like, don't get me wrong, we're not that, like, if someone's got a little problem, I'll help them out. But them little moans can just...
It's scary, mate. I remember being on a mountain I climbed the Gran Paradiso. It's the highest in Italy.
We've done that Gran Paradiso,
it's brilliant, isn't it?
Mountain, yeah.
It's got the statue at the top of Helmet, Our Lady, is it? That's a fucking brilliant mountain, that, innit? And the crevasse at the top.
Yeah,
you get
the little ladder in it. Yeah.
So anyway, I'm climbing that. I had my guide, and I was like you, mate, just went out on my own. A few people let me down. I just went out on my own. And I ended up climbing with a bunch of Irish. Like, there was a big group of them. So I climbed with them. And anyway, I had my guide. And we were up there, and he told me a story of when he went to Everest. And it was like someone with a lot of money had paid him to do this trip. And he said, right, we need to get off the mountain. It's getting dangerous. The weather's coming in. And they were like, no, we'll be all right here. And he's like, no, I'm telling you now as your guide, we're heading down.
Yeah.
We need to get from this camp, we need to head down the mountain. And the guy was like, no, I think we should ride it out. And he's like, fucking no, we're not. Go down now. And as a guide, like, he's making the call, he's the experienced one. Yeah, he's getting paid to make these decisions. Yet this guy who had loads of money was just being a dick, going, no, I think we'll be all right. And you think as a guide, the way someone's saying, oh, must be a great job. It is when you're on your own and you're in control of yourself. But when you're looking after X amount of people, and some of them might think they know best.
It's a battle, yeah. I mean, I have help as well. I have my son or my brother. Helps on my dad sometimes, but because you can get someone who's like, I try to explain what walk we're doing. If it's a difficult one, you need a bit of experience, or you need to be quite fit. And you get people who tell you they are, and then as soon as you start, they're not. And they're at the back, and then the ones at the front are like, and the group's just going like that. So it's a battle to keep them together, yeah. And then they're pissed off with them. So I just always try just keep it light-hearted for everyone, and just messing around, cracking jokes or whatever, just to keep it from happening like that negative day, because then it's not a nice day for no one.
What's the motivation behind getting people to do it though? Obviously it's a test physically, but is it more, as I said before,
I think it's mental? For me, it's just how you feel from it. Like I say, never ever took anyone up and they've gone like, oh, that was shit then. Like, never. Every single time people are like, wow, that was boss, why don't we do it more? Like, this is how good you can feel just by going outdoors. It doesn't have to be with me. Just get outdoors. It doesn't have to be a big mountain, but you'll just feel good and cost nothing. Like, people don't understand that, what's out there. They always go on like the government, they don't do nothing for us, and they look at all the negatives, there's takeaways and all the shit after it and that, but you say, but if you've seen how much they spend on paths around mountains, the Peak District, like anywhere you go, they're putting new paths in and making it more accessible for people to go and get access, and car parks and everything. So there's just no reason why you can't get out there for no money.
For your business then, so what are some of the things that you do? What are some of the mountains you do in the days out? How does it work for anyone who isn't listening? And
so I do like guided walks. It can just be like a day in the lakes, and we can hit one mountain or two or three or four. But I also do the National Free Peak Challenge and the Yorkshire Free Peaks. I organise them, and the Welsh 3000s. Have you done that one?
No.
It's difficult.
I've done the National 3 Peaks. Sorry, the Yorkshire 3 Peaks.
Yeah, the Yorkshire's good. The National's good. The Welsh 3000's tough. Is it? It's a tough challenge, that one, yeah.
How many is that?
The 15 highest 3,000 foot mountains in Snowdon. So they all like ping off each other. So I think it's 30 mile or something in total. But it's a good challenge, that one. Not for everyone.
I was going to say that. Seeing your eyes light up when you started speaking about that one.
Yeah,
that's
like that
proper
one,
challenge, yeah.
But again, you can put that on, and some groups underestimate it, and then it's hard keeping people motivated and that, because you're going starting in the dark and you're finishing in the dark, and
I think it's so funny when you join a group of people and someone says, right, you're fit, and you might go, yeah, I'm fit.
Subjective.
Exactly. I said to my mate once, he won't listen to this, but I said to him, well, we go up Snowdon. And I've been up Snowdon 50 times or so, and I went, yeah, come up, and he's like, what do you need and all that, and I'm telling him, and he turns up, and I've obviously got a day sack on and all the gear and all that. He turns up at like a Tesco carrier bag.
Oh my god!
Yeah, seen plenty of that.
With some food in and all that. And I was like, have you not got a bag? He went, yes. And I went, you're gonna walk up a mountain with that in your hand, like a shopping bag?
Like, she knows that crazy.
And I was like, what the? I was like, give me it, throw it in my bag, and I was just like. So when people are saying, yeah, I'm prepared, it's like, but are you prepared though? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I think that's what the main thing is. Like, we all have this thing in our head, like, yeah, I'll be able to do that, I'll do that. But then it's the reality of going to do it, and you're like, oh my God, I've underestimated this a little bit.
Yeah. Like it is getting people prepared though. I've done so many, and I always carry waterproof jackets in my bus, spare ones, because people pull the coat out, say, you've got your waterproofs, and they'll pull like a little fleece. This is waterproof, innit? No, definitely not. Or a little down jacket, thin down jacket. No, definitely not. Like, so I always carry spares for them, because people just still don't even understand that, like what's waterproof jacket or not, or windproof.
It's crazy how out of touch so much of the population is with nature. Like, and like, we had Dean Garner on, and he was talking about like growing food, and that's what just flicked into my mind then. Like, it's the most natural thing in the world, isn't it? Nature, obviously, but like, we're also are attuned with it. Well, not all of us, but a large percentage of the population are attuned with what it takes to walk up a mountain, what it takes to survive. It's quite scary, isn't it, when you think... Yeah, it's scary when you think about it.
Our neighbours moved in a few years ago, and so my back garden's like fake grass, flags, and like, you know, like a night, what you'd think is a nice back for like maybe a barbecue. And next door's moved in, and they've turned the back into the farm. Got a big polytunnel, chickens, food and veg growing everywhere. And I always look out the window and think, say to me, it's scruffy that though, innit? I wouldn't be arsed with that. When the pandemic happened, I was looking in their back thinking, fuck, they're sorted then. We're fucked here if the shop's shut.
On the Astro.
Yeah, like that, knocking for eggs. But yeah, it's right, like, they've got it right next door to us, and we've got it like how you think your house should be for telly and magazines or whatever. Yeah. But really,
so true.
Like we just rely so much on governments now.
Yeah.
And you've seen how fast they can go wrong.
Yeah.
Oh, that's what I mean. It's like, you know, it's so important for us to... We all know it's important to know. We all know how important it is to know to grow food, but very few of us can do it. Do you know what I mean?
Can do it, like, It's all time, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like, what other, for you personally then, obviously, you know, you're doing the guidance, or what mountains are kind of on your ticket list? Forget challenges, like crazy challenges for a second, but I mean, what mountains kind of still appeal to you?
Yeah, so I'm trying to do, no, you've done it, Aconcagua. Did you do Aconcagua? Yeah.
I got about 400 metres from the summit. So I got as high as 6,500 metres. I think it's 6,009.
Yeah, it's just under 7, isn't it?
Yeah. And we got turned back. Funny story, I think I might have told you, George, but there's a point and you get to like, there's like a hut, and the kind of, from the hut, it kind of bends around the mountain up to the top. And the sun was kind of rising from the left, but you climb the mountain round to the right. Yeah. So you're climbing it in the dark still. And mate, it was fucking cold. Like, it was cold.
Yeah, I believe it's cold up there, yeah.
And we get to this hut, and our guide, we'll have a little 5 here. And there was 4 lads who were just about 5 minutes ahead of me and my other mate, and our guide. I took my day sock off, put it there, and I was in a bad way. I was like, you know, this is fucking hard, you know what I mean? Got me water that's frozen. I had like jellies, they were all like rock solid. I couldn't eat anything. It was so cold. Everything was frozen, everything. Couldn't eat or drink nothing. And I was just I was in a bad way. I had 5 minutes trying to psych yourself back up. We started walking again. And as we started walking, the lads who were just 5 minutes ahead of us looked like they'd stopped. And I was thinking, what's going on here? And our guide said, let's just hang on a minute. And then they started coming back down the mountain. And the lead guide's a guy called Harry Taylor, who's ex-SAS. He's been up Everest loads of times. And he said, I've called it, lads. It's too dangerous. We're going to have to knock it back, because it was already cold, and then you were going into the shadow of the mountain. And we were probably like 3 hours away from the summit. Yeah. And you think it's only there. You get summit fever, don't you? You think it's only there. But the reality is, you know, you're 3 hours up and then another couple down. And anyway, he called it. And I must admit, everyone was like, fucking hell, gutted there. I was like, thank fuck for that. Do you know what I mean? I was in a bad way. Didn't say nothing to any of the lads. I was like, gutted there, boys. And we got down to like Camp 4, I think it's called. I had frostnip in one of my fingers. So I had to walk down the mountain with, like, you know, boiling water in a canoe bag on my hand. It was the coldest I've ever been in my life. An unbelievable experience. Got some amazing photos, and it was a boss month I spent out there. Super grueling, really tough, but again, good, because I got asked some fucking big questions, and you know, I answered, you know, all of them. Unfortunately, didn't get to the summit, but it was still. Sometimes
it happens. Yeah, I'm planning on Aconcagua, but on my own, without a guide or nothing.
Oh really?
Like I'm gonna do it. That's how I'll do it on my own. But I've looked into it loads, and it's definitely it's possible. But see how it goes. But when we done Mont Blanc, was the first, because I was just obsessed with mountains. So I was like, right, what can we do without too much money? Because the guides are quite a lot, aren't they? So there was 5 of us went in. I think it was 218. Might have been getting mixed up now after this COVID. It's like dead
big blank in the middle. Yeah.
So I planned the trip to Mont Blanc. And one of the lads who was coming, he had a bit of rope work, experience. I didn't have much. We done crevasse rescue training, and then 5 of us went. I was like, the guides are about $2,000 each. So I was like, we'll save 10 grand, we'll just do it on our own. So one of the lads was like, well, no trains or
Gondolas.
Gondolas, yeah. I said, Sam, mate, that's right up my street, that. Fucking how I'd want to do it anyway. So when we start from the valley and we walk up the full mountain, so we had about 60, 70 pound bags because we had everything in them. All your tent and all your food and everything. And literally, within the first 2 miles of walking out the campsite, all the shit's getting through in bushes. You know, from this lad who said we're starting from the bottom. So what are you doing? He was stashing his camera. It's too heavy, me bag's fucking bag's too heavy. So the first time we went and done that, I think we got up to the... Have you done Mont Blanc?
No.
So it's not as high as Aconcagua, it's 4,800 metres, but you'd experience altitude and it's a tough mountain. We got to the hut, Tete Roos hut, I think, and then you climb like a 700 metre sort of Via Vereta up to the next hut at 3,900 metre, the Gouter hut, and then you crampons on all your stuff, your harness and ropes and that, because you're on the glacier then. And then there was only 3 of us, 2 dropped out at this point, so we got to the next hut is 4,300 metres. It's like a sort of emergency hut, the Valor hut I think it's called, the hut of death. I named it because we walked in there, like the lads like, let's go in here, so we went in, those 3 fellas like spooning each other in all these fleece blankets. It's like a big metal shed that you climb under and into, and then all your crampons are clanging, dead horrible feeling, not like a nice hut that they have in the you know, they have the other ones are quite nice and warm. This like an emergency shelter. So these 3 fellas are spooning each other and swapping places, and I'm watching them going, fucking hell, it's mad that. And then my 2 mates took the knock there in these fleece blankets, just lying down. And then some other fella come in, and I'm like, all right, mate. And he just blanked me. He grabbed the fleece blanket, lied down, and then someone else come in. I was just sitting there thinking, what the fuck's going on here? And then in the end, there was about 15 people in there, all just fucking shaking with these blankets under them. So I'm going to my mates, lads, we need to go. This is the fucking hut of death. This won't come out of here. So they're going 10 more minutes, then 10 more minutes. I'm proper on the clock. I'm just sitting there. As soon as they opened their eyes and looked at me, I was going, are you ready? You ready? And then I think it was... might have been in there for 30, 40 minutes. And I said, listen, I'm going, started roping up. And one of them, he popped his head up. I said, are you coming? He didn't want to, but he did. He said, yeah. It was that man stuff again. And the other lad who was with my other mate, he just said, no, not coming. So me and him roped up, carried on, and we got to the point where there was like I'd watched them all on YouTube, so I knew where he was going in my head on vids, but this like snow bridge had collapsed, and it was like a hole with a rope coming down. You had to get on this rope and like axe, you know, use your axes up. And I had a little go, and my axe was pinging off because they weren't climbing axes, just a walking axe, only had one. And then I was looking down just this bottomless pit, and I was looking at my mate, and he had less experience than me, and I was like, what do you reckon? And then we seen some fella come running up like a fell runner, you know, like he knew the mountain. You could tell you don't go running up Mont Blanc unless you know it. And he seen it, looked down, took a picture and ran back down. I was like, listen, we'll have to call it. So we was probably 30 minutes from the summit, and then that's when the next year I said, let's go back. So next year I planned, that was 4 or 5 day trip. I said, let's go back and we'll do Gran Paradiso, Mont Blanc and Laganon in Switzerland. So we done 3 mountains that year in the same time as we didn't do 1 mountain the year before.
Well, that's how the trip I done the Gran Paradiso. So the idea was you go there and you do the Gran Paradiso and then Mont Blanc. And as I was coming down the Gran Paradiso, my prosthetic leg broke. I kind of climbed over a boulder and it broke. And I couldn't get it fixed. And he was like, mate, I can't. Yeah. He was like, I've got no doubt you get up it from seeing you on the Paradiso, but you can't climb up there with an half broken prosthetic leg. And I was like, fucking hell. So I didn't actually get to do Blanc, but that was the intent.
Yeah, that's what they normally do, yeah.
I know you love it, but you know, like in situations like that, is there fear? Like, do you think, fuck, like...
Yeah, definitely. I have a few times, being like that, and not even on the high ones, being like that on some of the small ones on Snowdon. I've been up Snowdon in a storm on my own, and I know where I was, couldn't see nothing, just about to see my feet, and I knew I was by the path, and I knew I was by a drop, you know, by at the top of it's like as you're coming down the train tracks there, the path's here, and I was on the top bit, so there's just a drop there. I know it's a drop, it's like the gullies that you climb up, and I just couldn't find the path. But I knew, I was thinking, Ed, you're going to step off any second here. And just, that's how fucking bad the visibility was. And like, so I've had a few times like that where you think, I'm not getting home today.
I think
I've been the one I've been, we was going to get married in Lapland in 2015 in December. So I went to do Snowdon like literally 2 days before. And this was on the walking path before they put the steps in. And there was no one up there, it was proper deep snow. So I was setting the first prints and I lost the path and I started climbing. And then I just got to this point and I was just started sliding off the mountain. I was like, shit. And I stopped. And then I was like, I finally retraced my footprints and I was like, go home. I had like the devil and angel on my shoulder, like the angel saying, go home, you're getting married, you're going to away in a few days, go home. And this devil's like, fuck that, you're going up, you're a pussy if you go home. And like, and he won and I still went up. And I don't know, it's like sometimes probably why a lot of people who have died on them, you know, the good climbers and that, probably they fight that same thing. Someone's saying don't go and someone's saying go, and you just push a bit too much.
I think fucking, you know, your mindset and experience is fucking everything. I know it's been the kind of running theme, but I think, you know, when you've experienced something, it develops a stronger mindset each time. You know, each time you've done it. And I went, I was dating a girl and we went to camp. I spoke to you. You helped me out. You know, we're camping at the top of Snowdon.
Yeah.
And I'd been on the ale the night before on Saturday. I've been out all day, all night watching Liverpool. And my girlfriend at the time, we were going to climb Snowdon. And again, because I've done it a million times, I'm confident and I know I've got the mindset. Like, I know I can do it. I said, yeah, be sound. So anyway, packed all the tents, packed all the gear. I'm like you, I'm packing extra stuff, just, you know, being mega responsible, and everything was sorted. I woke up the next morning, I was hungover to fuck. And she said, right, you ready and all that? I said, yeah. So we drove over there, and I'd not had no breakfast, and I'd not eaten nothing for ages, so I was just on empty. We went up the Watkins path, and I was fucked. Like, do you know what I mean? I was thinking, this is stupid, I've not eaten nothing and stuff and all that. But, you know, your mind, I was like, nah, I fucking want to do it. Yeah. It's done. Like, I just knew in my mind. Yeah. But don't get me wrong, I was done in, and it made it a lot harder for myself because I was fucking hanging out my ass from not eating and all the ale I drank. But again, it's like you say, there's just something in you that goes, come on.
That you can just push it.
You can fucking do it. You've been here before, you've felt like this before, we can keep going. And I think once you've banked those things, those memories, you feel,
you know, there's more.
Yeah.
It's a good trait to have, that, mate.
Yeah, that's 100%. What I'm always doing, I done the Yorkshire Three Peaks fasted once, no food or water. And it was the same thing, like, I had food and water on me, but like, I was, because I'd said it, right, I'm not going to drink or eat. It took us about 12 hours with the group. Like, you can't give in on it, you know, even though you're fucked, and you only have to just have a little sip or something. But once you've said it, it's that mindset, innit?
I was like, I can't look like a bell end from my missus here. This big ex-Marine, I was like, no, fucked.
I think it's good to speak about that, though. It's why I asked you about fear, because I'm trying to put myself in the shoes of someone who might be listening, who might go, oh, that sounds a bit of me. But, like, do you sound like these, like, you know, once-in-a-lifetime professional mountaineers sort of thing? But, like, I guess if you're experiencing fear and you, like, you have to have the conversations in your own mind and stuff like that, I think for normal people, it's like, okay, well, do you know what I mean? That's something for me to aim at. I think I could probably do it.
Yeah, no, it is, yeah. And a lot of times on my walks, if some of the walks have got like a little scramble in, scrambles where you're using your hands basically, and there's different levels. Obviously goes from scramble to rock climbing, but I won't mention it. And it's not till they come. If it's something like a good ridge, you know, like Cribgoch and Snowdon, where you're actually on a ridge and you can fall and die, I'll mention that because you've got to, haven't you? You can't just let people come and say, right, we're going across there. But normal scrambles, I won't mention them. When they come, they're like, oh, you didn't say nothing about this. I said, because you wouldn't have come. But now you're here, you're going to do it. And they always do it. And they're the best parts. They always love that part, you know, where you're in fear. Like, they're actually shaking sometimes. And then once they've done it, like, oh, I love that. Yeah. Because no one really experiences fear no more, do they? No. Fear of like, normal stupid stuff, like not like bills and that. That's people's fear now, but actually fear where you might die. I think you should experience it.
It's that fight or flight thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's like, how often do humans actually fear that anymore? the fight or flight now would be, yeah, I've got a £600 bill there, like that. Do you know what I mean?
Bury me head in the sand. Yeah,
it's all changed, hasn't it?
It's not often people actually have that, real conversation with themselves about, life and death.
Yeah,
it probably is healthy, as you say.
Yeah,
for people
it definitely
to
helps. Yeah, it can help you with normal stuff then, in normal life. Yeah, but but back to the mountains. Like Everest, love to do it. But it's too expensive.
Yeah, it's super expensive.
Just too expensive.
What's the expense to go Everest?
50, 60 grand.
Yeah, it was like 50 grand, but I think now, with it being even more popular, I don't think you get it for 50 no more.
No.
It could be a lot more.
That's like a life, I mean, I guess that's some people's life save. It's like a life goal, isn't it? But everything they've got into go and do it. But.
Yeah.
I know guides who've been up there, mate, as well, and they've took someone up and they've been in a queue, and there's like half an hour queue, and they've got there, but they've not technically got to the summit.
Yeah.
They're like, it's there, but they just can't get to it because there's a queue, and it's like they've had to turn back.
Yeah, that's what I mean, yeah.
Imagine that.
So I'd like to do some of the high ones, but probably with that being that much and how popular, I'd like to do one of the others, maybe.
K2 or something.
Yeah, just something a bit more difficult.
That's more difficult, isn't it, than Everest?
Yeah. Everest is pretty much a hike, isn't it? A hard hike. But there's nothing technical about it, from what I've seen anyway. It's pretty much, that's why it's so much now, because people with money are just literally paying to get pushed up.
I would do that though. I said to Jodie, if I was a millionaire, I'd pay someone like Nims or you and just go and climb mountains. If money was no, I'd just pay a guide and I'd just go and climb mountains.
Yeah, just to be out on them, yeah. I like to learn on myself. Would you not like to learn just to... See, I something about that fear thing, like we were saying, like when you say a guide, like reason I've never bothered with Kilimanjaro is because you've got to have a guide on it.
Oh, have you?
I'd like to do it, but because you've got to have a guide, I'm like, it's not fucking... I love that like danger thing, like we done... We went to Morocco once to do Toubkal, highest mountain in the Atlas Mountains, 200 metres, I think. And we went to this little town, Imnil, where like it starts from, and all the guards come running over to you. It's like a proper, like you've gone back 1,000 years or something, this little town. And we end up arguing with them. It's funny story. They're saying, they're telling us you've got to have a guide, and I'm saying, you fucking haven't. You haven't got to have a guide. We don't want you. Just go away, leave us alone. And they're all in our face, getting a bit heated. I was like, anyway, so we say, look, we're not having a guide, so we walked that way. And he went, where you going? I went, up the mountain. He went, it's that way. And we all started to laugh. I was like, said to lads, listen, should we just get a guide just to keep the peace with them? And then, because they're going, there's police on there, they take you, there's passport checks down on there. I thought it was bullshit. So anyway, we got this kid, he weren't a guide, he was just a kid. They just went, whistled him, go and get your bag, you're going up the mountain. And that was it, no food or water. That's how bad it is there. So we're looking after this guide who's meant to be looking after us. And then on the way up, there is police checks, and they do take your passports. And I don't know, we didn't get to the bottom of whether you need a guide or not, but we did end up having this kid, and it was a funny little expedition, that one. Yeah.
Well, that's the other thing, it gives you so many boss stories, and I've got loads of belter stories from the mountain, like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
One other thing, mate, I love about you as well, for anyone who followed you, mate, well, you've already demonstrated this in your story so far, but like, you're so open to trying new things. I've seen you getting into your bow and arrow thing and all that.
The bow, yeah.
Talk to me about that. Have you seen his...
I've seen the Instagram,
And you've got like a dead long garden, haven't you? And
that's at the gym now.
Is it?
Yeah, that's the gym. So it's obviously you see and you want to do, don't you? That's how we are as humans. So Cameron Ains, who was mentioned to us before, is a bow hunter in America, and that's all he does. And just listening to them about it's like meditation. That's how they talk about it. Every time you shoot, you've got to be in the same place and the same stance, and everything's got to be the same, where your nose touches the string and all that. So I've just always wanted to do it. And then my brother lives in Spain, and when I got the gym set up and the grass, I sent him a video, and I was like, I'm gonna get a bow here. And he's got this house in Spain with loads of land, and he got one first, and he sent me a video. He's like, oh, me bow and that. I was like, you bastard. Because all my money was getting spent on the gyms. Didn't have any spare money, but he bought me one. So that's where that bow come from. eBay, he got me sent on eBay. So so that was it, yeah. So it's like, it is literally, people think meditation is sitting down in a yoga pose and just like doing that, but there's so many different ways to meditate, if you like. And like one of mine's running on the mountains for hours. It can take an hour before my head switches off, you know, all the shit that goes through your head, all the normal stuff like that everyone has. And it can be an hour of just my mind going like that, and then next minute, boom, it's just gone, and I'm just me in the mountain. And like, I see that as like my meditation. And the bow as well, when you're just with your bow and you just, well, for an example, as soon as you're not in that place and you think of something, I just miss. I'll blow my arrows up.
Neighbours' windows going through.
yeah.
Neighbours' chickens just get them kicked off.
That's what you've got to watch, yeah. But they are a great thing. Like, I've been getting into it, yeah. And then
I seen you do that, which I loved, mate. And then the other one, you done a minute in a ice chamber, but it went up every day for each day, didn't it?
So this when I caught COVID, this.
Was it?
So it's called
you caught COVID on the back of it, or like?
Yeah, I caught it on day 11. So the running, have you heard the running, the calendar club challenge? So on the first lockdown in May, I'd done it. It was like you run a mile, 2 mile, 3 mile, 4 mile, right up. So you do 496 mile in the month. So I done that in May. That was
completed it.
Yeah, that was a tough one. That. So day 30, I had to split the last I think 27, 28, 29, 30. I split my runs up because I couldn't do them in one go. And I remember coming in the night on day 30, and everyone's messing like, this is easy. This for you, you're smashing it. And I was fucking. It made me more angry because I was thinking, what are you on about? It's easy. I'm fucking broke here. And I was saying to me missus, I can't do this. I was going, it's one more day. I said, but you don't understand, I can't do it. One more day, yeah, but I can't walk. I can't, never mind run 31 miles tomorrow. I can't even walk. I come in like the stick man, you know, no bend in my legs and nothing. And I was like, right, I'm going to get up early. If I get up early, I'm going to do it. And if I don't, because the kids were like, spend some time with us, because I was just out running all the time. And then I remember waking up and was like, fuck, get it done. And it was a tough day.
Did you do like 10?
Oh, the last day I'd done it in one go. I'd done 50k, yeah. I just pushed on.
Fucking crazy, man.
Stop. Yeah. And then, so then the year later, I done this. I wanted to do it again, but with the ice bath. But I didn't do the mile run. I done a kilometre one this time. It's easier, but it's still difficult. But I was doing the ice bath as well. So a minute, kilometre run, minute ice bath, 2k run, 2 minutes. Got up to 11 minutes and on day 11. And then the next day I was in the gym training people, and I just got this crazy feeling like something went right. It's like I was freezing. I'm never cold. So I was in the gym, I was shaking, sitting down, my coat on and that under the fire. Everyone was like, what's up with you? I was like, just something not right. And then I went home and got me. I was whacked off it like.
Was you, yeah?
We weren't bad in the hospital, nothing, but I was the worst I'd ever been off it.
Just felt ill for a couple of days or something,
Yeah, 2 weeks.
2 weeks?
2 weeks, yeah. But I think my body was that battered from that challenge. My immune was low.
Yeah.
And then when it did get me, it was easy. It was wearing a fight for it.
I imagine that's very for someone like you, like getting a challenge cut short must drive it insane.
I've done proper.
I could see it.
Yeah.
What's that whole ice thing like, mate? Because I've done the cold shower and stuff. We've had like Scanner in, and we've had Cal Webb do it, and he's always doing it and stuff. And I've done it a few times and stuff and all that. But I mean, I'm not religious with it. Now and again I will, but I mean, what's it like for you, and you know, building up that kind of tolerance of doing?
It's this is the same thing. This lot of this comes back even before jail, like the cold and the heat and that, and this extreme stuff. I've always done. It's always been in me. It's not because I've seen Wim Hof or David Goggins or nothing like that. People always say, "Oh, Wim Hof." Like for example, when I was in jail, I had this challenge with myself in the winter, and I'd never shut my window, and I'd turn the heating off. And I had a little thin sheet like that. So my cell was like whatever temperature it was outside, how I lived. And I'd walk around the yard in a t-shirt in the winter, just freezing. And
fucking Sean Dyche.
Yeah, just loving it.
Yeah, the lads used to come in and keep the milk and that on my windowsill. Or they'd come in to sit with me and they'd go, fuck this, Mick, go mad, you and get off. So, but to me, it was like another challenge. Yeah. And I remember this one time, it was that cold. We was in Kirkham. it was that cold. I was fucking shaking in the bed, and I was like, don't shut the window, don't shut the window. And it went on for about an hour, and I got up and shut the window, and it broke me, mate. I couldn't even look in the mirror the next day. Pushing you. But it was that cold. So I think it's always been in me, to do this stuff. And then when I did see Wim Hof, I remember first seeing him, I think he was on Joe Rogan, and then I started getting into the ice stuff and that a bit more.
And you enjoy it then?
Yeah, I enjoy it, yeah. You've
got your own thing in the bath and that, haven't you?
Yeah, I used to have a bath, and then I got a barrel. But I done the bath once, and I was listening to this, this was in winter, and my 2 kids come out, and I was sitting in the ice bath listening to Ramdas, and it's 26 minutes long, and I was going to do a couple of them. There's 5 tracks on this like little list I've got. He's like an old like yogi. He's dead now. He's good to listen to though. And anyway, I ended up doing 26 minutes. This was not long before I went to Poland with Scano and that to meet Wim Hof to do his course. And I'd done 26 minutes in the ice bath, just like that, and jumped up, and I was sad, and I went in the house, and the house was roasting. And I've grabbed me tea, my missus had the tea ready, grabbed me tea, walked in the living room, and just started shaking for like the next 20 minutes. My teeth were whacking that hard, they nearly broke. My wife's looking at me going, do you want me to bring the ambulance now? I'm going, no, like telling her, no, just leave me. And I was literally body popping. And I think I end up listening to someone else on Rogan talk about it, who went with Wim Hof. It's called Afterdrop. It's like it's quite dangerous, really. You can die off it. It's when you get that cold, your body shuts the like the extremities off and pumps blood, keeps the warm blood around your organs, your vital organs. So it sort of limits this blood, in your legs and your arms and that. So if you go from that environment into a warm one too fast, it opens all your arteries and veins, and that cold blood mixes with the warm blood and goes to your heart, and it's Afterdrop. It's like your temperature drops, your core temperature, and that's what happened to me. So I was shaking for like 20 minutes. And then when we went to Wim Hof, I was telling Scano and the lads about it. I said, you gotta be careful, because you can get this thing called Afterdrop. And we done the ice thing with Wim Hof, and then we went in a sauna, and I was getting it again. I could feel it.
What?
And one of the lads, Mike, I think it was Mike, always laughs his head off, because he said, this woman said to me, Mick, you look like you got Afterdrop, you're okay? And he said, I was trying to blend it, going, no, I'm okay. I was like shaking, saying it to her, trying to not let her know I had this Afterdrop again. But
is there no way to not get that Afterdrop, or is it
well, that's what Wim Hof's thing is, to like sort of warm up. So when you, say if you're in the cold water, say if you got out and just done some burpees or squats and just warmed up outside before you went into the
regulate yourself sort of thing.
Yeah. So it's scary, like it's scary, it's a scary thing,
Do you know what, like...
Fuck those fucking bats, mate.
That was too long, 26 minutes too long.
It's been a great chat, proper enjoyed it. I mean, I always, in my own life, have this you versus you thing, like, don't compare myself to anyone and all this stuff, but I feel like you live it, like, physically, do you know what I mean? It's like, anything you're doing, in this whole chat, not once you've said anything about you're doing it to like beat this person's time, or you're doing it to beat everything is just about you. It's like, I want to do it, even down to the stuff in your cell where you don't want to shut your window because you're fighting against yourself.
It's just a challenge. I
think that's such a positive thing for people to learn, that I think they will learn from this chat. Is like, it is just a race between yourself, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? The only person to beat is you.
Yeah, that's it. Competitions, you v you. That's what I always say to people. The only person that matters, not in your life, but I mean, like, in your training, what you're doing is the one in the mirror. Like, can you look at the one in the mirror and be happy with where you're at? And that's it. And I'm never happy, so I'm always looking, thinking, you got to do something else. But that's, I mean, I probably do go a little bit too extreme, but you don't have to. You can just go to the gym and. Like, that's so important, I think, just people getting outdoors or training. Like, if they're not doing it, something they just need to do. And it doesn't have to cost them money, because I think a big thing that puts people off is if you've got a PT and that, even these classes, quite expensive. Someone's got no money, but like, you've got YouTube and you only have to put workout in, and you're getting a free workout. You don't need to pay people. You can just literally do it from your home on your own for nothing.
Yeah.
So, like, but I know some people need someone there, to push them on, but...
What is then the kind of future round off like? What's the kind of future holding for you now then with the peak elevation, with the atomic habits, the PTing? I mean, what's
I mean, me big goal, and it's I say me big goal. I should have been doing this a while ago, and I've been dragging my feet with it. I want to put my own races on. That's where I'm heading to. Yeah, that's all I've ever seen for years. In the mountains and local, like the ones I do myself. No bit more local.
Like road races as well.
Yeah, just like 10Ks. Yeah, I just that's where I can see it going. That's what I want to do into and. Want to get into properly, and a retreat. I've been always speaking about this for me missus, like having a retreat. We was open Spain, but with all that shit that's happened, I don't think it's going to happen there. So we're probably going to end up in Wales at some point, and have sort of like a health retreat where because missus is a nutrition and lifestyle coach, and she's a great cook and that. And it's like, I just see like a family thing where we live in the place and people come and stay with you and you take them on the mountains and we train and, know that sort of health farm like that. That's like my end goal over the next few years, yeah.
Mate, I only follow your Instagram, mate, and I fucking am inspired and motivated, mate, and I guarantee anyone else will be if they do the same, mate. It's brilliant what you're doing. Yeah, it's just a great way to kind of think that you can live your life like that, you know what I mean?
Yeah. You can fit it in, you can make time.
Yeah.
Like when I was working, because people always say it's all over there, I haven't got time. Well, if you want it, you can make it. Like when I was working the 9 till 5 and I weren't seeing the family all week. So then, of a weekend, it was important to have your family time. I'd just get up at 3 and go to Snowdon. And I'd drive to Snowdon, I'd run up Snowdon, I'd get back and I'd be back for 9. And my wife and I just waking up, like have some brekkie, then we go out for the day. So I've had my mountain fix, I've been working, and then I've spent the day with the kids and that. And like that's my extreme, but get up an hour early to train. There's always time.
Yeah.
If you want to do something, you will do it 100%. That's why people find time to go out with the mates every single weekend. Like if we were all that jammed for time, you wouldn't be able to do it.
100%,
it's a priority, and if you make it a priority, you'll do it. And I think
that's it. Yeah.
But no, it's been a brilliant.
It's like that. The man who says he can and the man who says he can't are both normally right.
Yeah, it's so true.
It is. Yeah.
And else you want to finish on, mate? And we've missed off or?
No, mate. My story's gone forever and ever. Be all weekend, but no.
Enjoyed it, mate. I think have you done any other pods? Have you?
No, I've never done one. That's a big thing for me. Like being really nervous about. To be honest, I can do. Like say, throw me on a mountain with a tractor tyre and I'm sound, but put me in a room talking, and like it's just a new thing for me. So,
mate, listen,
you've been brilliant.
Yeah, you've been brilliant, mate. Yeah, and no doubt everyone will have enjoyed it, and probably try and get you back on again before one of your challenges, mate.
Yeah, be brilliant. Yeah,
but you are, mate. I said it again, mate. I'm a big fan, so keep doing what you're doing, mate.
Cheers, Andy. Nice one,
brilliant.
John. Yeah, nice one.